In 2025, I had my best year ever in business. I made the most money I have ever made in a single year in my 10 years of photography. And a lot of people have asked me, like, what is my secret to success? How am I finding clients? Because I know a lot of people are really struggling right now, and a lot of people are telling me it's their worst year ever in business. And so I always tell people my secret is SEO. That is how almost all of my clients find me. They find me through Google because I am the #1 ranked in my area for all of the really important keywords on Google. So I'm located in Greenville, South Carolina. And so if you look up just Greenville photographer, Greenville, South Carolina family photographer, Greenville newborn photographer, all of those really important keywords, I am ranked #1 on Google, and I get over 2,000 clicks to my website per month from Google from people in my area looking for a family, newborn, or maternity photographer. And so I want to give you in this video all of my secrets about how I get so many clicks to my website per month from Google and how I am able to completely sell out just using Google. This is all completely passive. Once I set up my website, my SEO, I don't have to do anything else. I'm not having to, scour Facebook and Instagram and all these places every single day. This is all set up. My marketing is working for me. And I want to give you all my secrets about how I became #1 on Google, because I think that this will really help you find your ideal clients as well. Okay, I just am going to get straight into it. And so the first thing to do when you are looking to do any kind of SEO is you really have to know your ideal clients inside and out. And so if you've never sat down and filled out an ideal client workbook before, I actually have one that a lot of people have told me has been so helpful for them. And I'm gonna give it to you for free. That's gonna be linked in the description below. So when you download that, you'll basically see 2 copies of that ideal client workbook. The first copy is going to have all of my answers to the questions, so you can see exactly who my ideal client is. And just to give you, not that your ideal client will be the same as mine, but it will just give you a really good example of how specific you need to be when you're thinking about who your ideal client is. So I think it just helps to have that example. And then the second copy will be for you to fill out. So it'll have all these questions about things about your ideal client that you can think through. And when you're filling this out, one thing that I find to be helpful, it's really going to depend on where you're at in your business. But for me, as someone who's very experienced and has been in business for a long time and at this point, I am working with my ideal client most of the time. So when I'm filling this out, I can think about a real person that I have worked with before. So if you are someone who is more experienced in business, you've been around for a long time, and you are working with a lot of people that you love and that are your ideal client, you can think about a specific person. Think about your favorite client that you've ever worked with, someone that you would love to continue working with. Like if every client was exactly like this one, you would be so happy, your business would be perfect, you'd be very fulfilled, okay? Think about that person. Think about literally everything about them, their name, and you'll see when you fill out the ideal client workbook, but I want you to think about that specific person and fill everything out literally about that person, the real person that you have, the real client that you have worked with before. Now, you are going to want to update this frequently, because as your business grows and changes, as you kind of change your little things about your style over time. I mean, even now I've been in business for 10 years and my business slightly changes every year. And so my ideal client might change, and I might have a new favorite person that I've worked with. And so I think it's important at least once a year, if not more, to sit down and figure out, okay, who is my new ideal client? Who's my favorite person that I worked with this past year? Who's my favorite person that I've worked with in the past couple months? And let me fill this out about that person. Now, that is for experienced photographers. If you are someone who is newer, you don't have as much experience, or maybe you haven't worked with someone that you have actually really liked yet, then you can make this up. It can be a fake person, but someone you're going to fill it out as if it's a real person. Like if you could design your ideal client from scratch, who is this person? You can make up a fake person too. And then as you start working with more and more people that you love and that are your ideal client, then you can go in and replace it with a real person. Okay. So that's the first thing. And it is so important in any kind of marketing to really know specifically who you're talking to. And if you have different niches that you serve in your business, so for me, like it's family, maternity, and newborn photography, but it's pretty much I just have one ideal client, right? But if you serve, like maybe you're a family photographer and you also do corporate headshots, you're gonna have two different ideal clients, and that's okay to be speaking to two different ideal clients as well. So basically you would just fill this out twice, once for your family session ideal client, once for your headshot session ideal client. But it's so important to know who your ideal client is, because you have to know who you're speaking to specifically to design any kind of marketing strategy, okay? So after you fill out that ideal client workbook and you know exactly who your ideal client is, the next thing that you're going to do is come up with your keywords. So you are going to think about keywords that your ideal client is searching for. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is your ideal client may not be you. Your ideal client may be very different from you. And so when you are coming up with these keywords, you want to think about things that are very different than what you would search for. Does that make sense? So I know that I'm not my ideal client because I'm very expensive for my area. I'm one of the most expensive photographers in my area. And so the people that I serve as clients are way higher income than I am. So I have to put myself in that person's shoes, which can be difficult. Like sometimes it's like, this is a completely different cultural shift. I'm talking to a completely different socioeconomic class than I am. And so it can be difficult to put yourself in that person's shoes and think, okay, what types of words do these people use? Where are they going to search for specific things? What kinds of places do they shop at? So anyway, what you really need to put yourself in that person's shoes and not just think about it from your own perspective. So not think about it from what words do I use when I'm searching for things, but what words do those specific ideal clients search for, if that makes sense. Now, once you have your keywords, you are going to use those very strategically in your H1 and H2 headings, and then also in your paragraph text. So that when you go into your website, H1 and H2 are your headers. You only want to have one H1 per page. You might have multiple H2s per page, and then you've got your paragraph text. And so those are all going to be very strategic with those keywords built into them. And then another thing I want to point out here, I didn't even put this in my notes, but I've just seen this so much recently and it drives me crazy. When we're talking about SEO and just marketing in general, I feel like this shouldn't even need to be said, but please, please, please do not have mypixieset.com in your domain name. It does not cost very much to get a domain name, and just get yourphotographybusiness.com. It's maybe $50 a year. Please get an actual domain name. There's kind of no point in doing any of this if you're just going to have a .mypixieset.com or .wix or whatever. Have your actual domain name that does not include Pixieset in it, please. Okay, so moving on, you also want to make sure your website is user friendly, because if someone clicks onto your website, they're really confused, they can't figure anything out, they're just going to hop off right away, and that's going to be bad for your SEO. Your SEO rankings are improved the longer people spend on your website and the more pages that they click to. So if they go on your first page and then they click to another page, they click to another page, that is going to improve your SEO rankings, because Google is going to see that as, oh, this person's website is really helpful. It's more helpful than other websites where people are clicking off. And so we want to send people to this website more than to other ones. And then you also want to make sure you're blogging. I think a lot of new photographers think blogging is dead and they don't do it anymore, or they don't even try to start doing it, but I promise you it is not. My blogs get me found on Google hundreds of times every month, thousands of times every month. And so it is really important to blog. And one of the reasons is because every page on your website, basically you only want to have it rank for one keyword. Otherwise, what can happen is called keyword cannibalism. So because you have two pages that might rank well for the same keyword, Google just kind of like X's it out and doesn't put either of them on the first page of Google. And so you only want to have one keyword per page and you don't want to like reuse keywords. So you might have, obviously you're going to have like your main keywords, like for example, for me, it's Greenville family photographer, Greenville photographer. So those are kind of like my main keywords, but you might have a list of hundreds of keywords that you could try to rank for, and you don't have hundreds of main pages on your website. And so here's where blogs come in. And so blogs are where I'm trying to rank for more specific keywords that don't get searched as often. So I'm not necessarily like really targeting them as strategically as those big keywords, but it's still things that people search for and things I would want to get found for if people were searching for them. So for example, some keywords that I rank for on my blog post, but not on my main page, are for like specific locations that I use. So like Paris Mountain family photos, Furman University family photos, downtown Greenville family photos. And that's just an example. Obviously there's a lot more keywords than just those locations, but that just gives you an example of how using blog posts can get you found for a lot more keywords. There's a lot less people searching for those keywords, so I don't want to make them my main page keywords, but I still want to rank for them, and that's where blogging comes in handy. So you want to make sure you are blogging about topics that your ideal clients are interested in and things that they would be searching for. Okay, also, so I aim for, when we're talking about the main pages, we want to make sure that we're aiming for those really important keywords. So I have seen a lot of bad SEO advice where people basically say like, oh, those really big keywords like Chicago wedding photographer, they're too hard to rank for. There's too many people trying to rank for those, so don't even try. Just try to go for the more like narrow specific keywords that not as many people are searching for, and then you can become number one on Google. Like, yes, you might be number one when someone is searching for that thing, but does that really matter if only two people are searching for it? And you know, you've got conversion rates to think about too. So not every person that searches for a keyword is going to actually click to your website and then buy from you. So in my opinion, that wouldn't really be worth it. You're not likely to get any sales if only two people are searching for that keyword. And so I actually think it's really important for your main pages on your website to try to rank for the important keywords, the ones that everyone is searching for. Yes, there's more competition for them, but when you are able to rank on the first page for Google for those, that is going to do so much more for you than those random keywords that not as many people are searching for. Okay, and then the other thing I want to talk about is I put everything on my website in order to increase the time spent on my website. So we kind of talked about how the more time people spend on your website and the more pages they go to on your website, the more Google sees your website as being really helpful for people, and so it will rank you higher in searches. And so I hate sending people off of my website for anything, and I think that this is a really big mistake that a lot of photographers make, and let me kind of give you some examples. So I know that the booking platform called Use Sessions is really popular because it's easy. It's easier for photographers to like set up and use, but the reason I refuse to use them as a booking platform, and don't get me wrong, I love automated booking, I use automated booking, but it's not worth it for me to choose a platform where I have to send people off of my website onto a different website to book with me. So and it's kind of a bad user experience too. Like from my perspective, when I've booked with photographers that use this platform, I hate being taken off the website and onto a different website to have to book. And so It's also going to, again, decrease your SEO because you're sending people off of your website onto a different website. And so when you're thinking about booking platforms for automated booking, which again, I do highly recommend you do automated booking for a lot of reasons that we can go over in a different video, but I really highly recommend only choosing a platform where you can embed the booking onto your own website. So for me personally, I use Dubsado, and I'm able to embed all of the booking things onto my own website. So they'll choose a date on my calendar, they will sign their contract, and they will pay their invoice, all the things, but it's all done on a page on my own website versus sending them to a different website. And so that's going to be really good for my SEO. Another example here would be like email marketing when you think about your opt-in forms. And if you're not using email marketing, again, this is another thing we can talk about in a separate video. It's something you really should be doing. And honestly, I think my secret to success is the combination of SEO and email marketing. But anyway, when you're talking about your opt-in forms to get people to opt in to your email list, you can set those up directly onto Flowdesk. So you're basically creating a landing page on Flowdesk, or you can set those up as a page on your own website, and you're embedding the Flowdesk form onto your own website, sending people to your website to opt in instead of sending people to, again, Flowdesk's website to opt in to your email list. So those are just a couple examples, but yeah, I just put as many things onto my website as possible. Again, instead of sending people to a different website, I just embed it into my own site. I'll give you a couple more examples. A couple more examples would be like my outfit guide and my location guide and my session prep guide, anything like that. Like instead of sending it as a PDF, I make it into a page on my website, a hidden page on my website. So anyway, there are so many of my secrets to how I get 2,000 clicks to my website per month from Google, how I rank #1 on Google. Now, if you want to dive even deeper into SEO, I have an entire mini course on everything I know about SEO and how I became ranked #1 on Google, and I will link that in the description below. It is super affordable, you guys. I've never seen an SEO course cheaper than this one. And so if you want to dive even deeper into this, I will link that below for you. And please let me know if you have any questions or any specific topics you want me to cover. I would love to make this channel as helpful for you guys as possible. And I just want to help other photographers see the success that I've seen in my business over the past 10 years. And so if you have any questions, I would love to answer those for you. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one.